Have you ever watched The Empire in Star Wars and thought, this feels familiar? Well, it's not just you. The Galactic Empire, the evil force led by Emperor Palpatine, was inspired by real history. And the biggest influence? Nazi Germany. So let's take a closer look at how Star Wars took ideas from one of the darkest chapters in human history to create its most feared villains. First off, let's talk names. So in Star Wars, the Empire's foot soldiers are called stormtroopers, right? But that's not just a cool science fiction name. In real life, the Nazis had troops called the Storm Detachment. They were nicknamed stormtroopers and they helped Hitler rise to power in the 1930s. George Lucas used the same word on purpose because he wanted us to feel uneasy when we saw them. Now, take a look at the uniforms. Imperial officers in Star Wars wear sharp grey suits with high collars and black boots, very similar to the Nazi military uniforms. And even Darth Vader's helmet is said to be inspired by German World War I and World War II designs. And what about those giant rallies we see in A New Hope or The Force Awakens? The big banners, the marching troops, the loud speeches, they look almost exactly like Nazi rallies from old footage. It's all about control, it's all about fear, and the power through image.
At this very moment, in a system far from here, the New Republic lies to the galaxy, while secretly supporting the treachery of the loathsome resistance.
Let's also talk about Emperor Palpatine. How does he rise to power? Not by force at first, but through politics. He gains emergency powers during a crisis, then he slowly turns the Republic into a dictatorship. Sounds familiar? Well, Adolf Hitler did something very similar. In 1933, after the Reichstag fire, he used fear to pass new laws that gave him total control. Lucas wanted to show how democracy can die, not with loud bombs, but with quiet changes. And what about the Death Star? The Death Star is more than just a space weapon, it's a symbol of fear. Just like Nazi Germany's tanks and bombers were in their time, the Empire uses it to say, do what we say, or else. It's not about peace, it's about control. And when they destroy Alderaan in A New Hope, it's like a warning to the galaxy. Just like Nazi attacks warned Europe to obey. And so, if the Empire is like Nazi Germany, then who are the good guys? Well, of course, the rebellion. They're small, they're brave, they're fighting for freedom. And they're exactly like the resistance fighters in France, Poland, and many other places during World War II. Leia, Mon Mothma, and the rest show that courage and hope can stand up to any empire, even one with a Death Star. George Lucas didn't just make this up. He once said, all democracies turn into dictatorships, but not by force, by the people being misled. Star Wars teaches us that evil doesn't always wear a scary mask. Sometimes it wears a suit, and sometimes it gives a very good speech. The Empire is a warning, a story based on real history, so we don't forget how fragile freedom can be. So, next time you watch Star Wars, look closer. The ships, the speeches, the soldiers, they're not just science fiction, they're reminders of what we've seen before, and what we never want to see again. Thank you very much for watching. If you learned something new, hit that like button and tell me in the comments, did you ever notice the Empire's real-life roots?